Welcome. You're listening to Expat Radio. I'm Bill Anderson, and I'm coming live from the Costa del Sol. Now, we're going to be talking about all things teeth and dental today, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Bita and Kevin from Team Kroh Dental. Welcome, Bita and Kevin. Oh, I think you've got your microphone on mute. If you can just unmute.
Hello,
That's
you hear
better.
me?
How
Hi everyone.
are you guys doing? Okay?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Yeah, really, really well. Sun's shining, can't be miserable, can you?
Yeah, no, we were forecast for rain sort of, I think, right through about next Tuesday or Wednesday, but the sun came out this morning, so we can't really complain.
No, it's brilliant. So, I mean, I was complaining that it's a little bit cold today, and everyone in England laughed at me. My friends, they said, "Oh, it's cold. You have 10, 12 degrees."
Yeah, the thing is that, we sort of have a different concept of cold here than people in the north of Europe have, don't they?
Exactly.
Yeah. So listen, Beta, Kevin, I think it's nice for people to know a little bit about you. Beta, first, you have come to Spain via a very circuitous route, haven't you? You didn't just sort of come from home to Spain. Tell us where your origins
No,
are.
no, I have a really mixed background. I born in Tehran in Iran.
Ah,
And then as children, when it was the wartime between Iran and Iraq, we moved to Sweden. So
right.
grew up in Sweden, studied to be a dentist in Sweden in Gothenburg. And about 25 years ago now, when I was finished study, moved to England and worked most of my working life in England, and then eventually decided to come to Sunshine.
Yes.
So I'm here now.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Kevin? Where are
I
your roots?
Mine completely different. I'm not a dentist. I'm the man behind the scenes, as it were, that runs the team and does the finances. So,
Right, okay.
but my background is I was a police officer for a long, long time. I joined when I was only 19,
Right.
so retired about 2 years ago. So I was lucky to retire at a good rank, and then we decided, right, okay, let's go back into the finance side and help Beta with the clinics that we've had.
Right, okay. And so you were both in the UK at this point. When did Spain come into your thinking?
I think it was actually just before COVID
Right.
that we have been in planning to move.
Yeah.
And COVID happened, and the move happened because we were planning to just come to Sunshine. I have family here in Spain for 30, 40 years. My uncles,
Right.
aunties, my mother been here 25 years. So, so we were coming holidaying. So we were planning, but then after COVID restrictions gone away, then we opened the practice here. So
Right.
yeah.
So can I ask a fairly straightforward question, but I think one interesting one. How easy was it for you to actually set up a business like this in Spain? Kevin, you're laughing already.
I'm laughing away a little bit. We were fortunate in one way because we brought an existing practice. So Kroll Dental is obviously not our surname. It's from a previous owner who's a
Right.
German chap. It's been here for sort of 25 years. We were looking around at starting from scratch, but trying to get a license or anything paperwork in Spain, we all know it takes a long time.
Yes.
So we had actually sort of found another premise and we were going to start again, but then it was going to take 2-3 years on the
Right.
advice we were given. So, and then just by chance, this beautiful clinic we've got here came up
Yeah.
through a friend of a friend, and obviously Peter, who was a lab technician here. He shut during COVID, unfortunately. So we started afresh around about 15 months ago. So we knew there were no clients whatsoever, as it were.
Mm.
But the investment was worth it because it's a very modern practice. So
Right.
it
And
was difficult, but not as bad as it could have been.
whereabouts are you based then?
So we are Nueva Andalusia, so
Oh,
sort of
right.
Marbella direction. So
Yeah.
just outside Marbella, closer to Porto Banús.
Yeah. that's the posh part.
It is indeed.
We don't live here. Only practice here.
So I guess you guys sort of drive to work in the morning in your Ferrari and spend the weekend on your gin palace in Puerto Banús and
Absolutely. At the moment, we're driving a 25-year-old Nissan Micra, just because everything we've had, we've invested into the business. So
Yeah.
we never do anything by halves. We've sort of gone full throttle and gone, right, come on, it's going to take a couple of years for us to
yeah.
hopefully one day get in a Ferrari.
And
Would be
we
nice.
invested a lot more onto the practice to make it the most modern practice which you can find in the coast, really.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and you know, for dental work, I mean, I would assume I can only think of numbers, but you know, equipment, it doesn't matter what you're buying, is going to be expensive.
yes, yes, it is. I think at the end of the day, it's important the actually clinician that you meet more than equipment. But we want to give our customers obviously the higher end of the market. So
Right.
we have invested. As dentistry itself has a clinical knowledge, I invested quite a lot throughout the years into
Yes.
my education to get more and more. So at the moment, I have my master's degree in implantology,
Ah, right.
and which I gained that from UK quite a few years ago. And then I have my mastery in facial aesthetic, injectables and rejuvenations and all that. So we have invested a lot into the knowledge as much as equipment, because I think
Right.
that. And then Kevin comes into the picture as giving the treatment coordinator, that friendly person that can be holding your hand throughout the whole journey of your
Right.
treatment. And I think that's what's lost here in Spain, is like that connection, that contact, that one
Yeah.
person that you can get to if you have problem. And I think that's where Kevin is actually doing the best here for us.
Yeah, but you know, I've spoken on previous shows about the National Health Service in general in Spain,
Yeah.
and said that really we do have a very good National Health Service. Does that apply to dentistry as well?
No, unfortunately, it doesn't. Dentistry under the public healthcare here is just the emergency or the very bare minimum,
Yeah,
and it's still, I think, is a fee to it. It's not free like in England for a lot of people it is. But saying that, even in England, it's gone really pear shape at the moment. National
I
Health
think
Service in
things have changed a
dentistry.
lot, haven't they? Yeah,
Yeah, so I think if you want to just get out of pain, maybe you can find something in the public
yeah,
dental care here in Spain. But if you do want anything but that is better, is all about private here, is
yeah.
about finding the right dentist for you.
Yeah, I think I inquired once. I had a problem and I inquired once about it. And what I got told was the sort of national health dentistry in Spain basically is there to do extractions. And I thought, I don't want it pulled
Yeah,
out. I just want it fixed, you know?
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. But that's a standard it is. I think is a standard is like really just get rid of the problem, taking the tooth out. Yes, it gets rid of the problem. Also, I think what we're finding with most of our customers, which are changing to come to us, is the fact that we are running this practice to the standards of England.
Right.
We are sticking to all the rules and regulation, hygiene, everything the same as we would have in England, and we have that communication skill with them,
Mm.
which going to, I mean, even the private hospital, Spanish hospital, when we go for a medical care, I get frustrated.
Right.
So, and we're trying to take that one away so people actually feel comfortable, all their
Right.
questions answered, and get the care they came here for. Because at the end of the day, we make it like as friendly, fun, but it is very important care, and is quite related to the rest of the body and the health. It's
Yeah.
not just vanity.
Yeah, yeah, because we are going to talk a little bit about that. But for you, Kevin, you know, being the sort of face that people, you know, experience when they're coming into the clinic, I guess you've had to learn an awful lot about well, what Beta does and what services you can offer, and how has that been in terms of a learning curve?
It's excuse me if I laugh. Peter's looking at me, smiling away. It was an incredible learning journey for the first 3 months. Say, obviously we've known each other a long time. I know what her work entails.
Yeah,
I know how stressful and much pressure she's under. But when we designed the new website, etc., I wanted to design that myself as well. So I understood how an implant happened, how
right.
a facial injectable happens, what Botox is, etc. It's been steep, but I'm okay now. I'm comfortable to talk to patients. I can answer the questions, etc., knowing that I'm giving the right answers. That was the more important thing. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, but because you know, for I'm going to say for us men, because I think us men in particular, we know very little about you know things like Botox. Yeah, we know what it is and we know roughly what it does, but we don't really know very much about it. And I guess we men as well, who don't like doctors very much, probably don't like dentists very much either. So,
Yeah, it's true.
I think you're correct. Yeah, but like I say, we try and pride ourselves that we're although we are a dental clinic, we're non-clinical. We're very relaxed. It's completely family run, and when you come in, we've not got the stereotypical sterile whitewashed walls. We've got
right.
warm colours. There's not much dental images to make people worry or horrific images of this, etc. And I think where we certainly win is the customer service between not just from me, from Bita, Bella, our nurse, the whole team really can speak various languages, but it is a warm welcome. It's hopefully takes away the nerves.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have to say, you know, when I've been sitting in a dentist waiting room, the last thing I want to look at is a poster of sort of septic gums and and sort
Well,
of
there was a big poster of it here with about 100 different teeth, and then we took it off the wall when we came. I said, no. I mean, even the colors, I often say, like having a color red is not really suitable. You need to have calming colors because it's at the end of the, and like if someone comes in and it becomes like you think that person is rude before the treatment, is a lot of time it's not about that. It's about that they're nervous, they're stressed, they show it in different way. You just have
sure,
to understand that it is a very intimate area, mouth, that people like put it in your hands to, you know, and
sure.
usually all that solves after you give them the comfort, the calm, and they go through the treatment and they feel okay.
Yeah,
It wasn't as bad as I thought, and then they suddenly a new person.
yeah. It's interesting. My background was in psychological services in the UK, and when we were out, my late wife and I, who was also a psychologist, we never told them what we did, you know. And I can just imagine you're out at a party and someone says, "Oh, so what do you do for a living?" And Vita says, "I'm a dentist." And then all the dentist stories start coming out. Yeah.
Oh, it's not just a story. They just suddenly in the middle of a party, the mouth is opened, and
Yeah, can you have a look at that?
can you have a quick look at this one? No, I know this. This is but I am quite down to earth. It doesn't matter. I believe it doesn't matter whatever education you had and what title you have. We all the same. We're all human beings. So
Absolutely.
I never like go out with title or tell everyone who I am unless someone specifically asks.
Yeah, but it's just that it's one of these topics that people, you know, once they know who you are,
Yeah.
they
Yep.
want to talk to you about it, you know,
Yeah.
and
And all the horror stories.
and the horror stories. Yeah, I won't regale you with my horror stories, but they go back a long way. But yeah, you know what I'm very conscious of is that you know I'm in my 60s now, and thinking back, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago, dentistry has changed enormously in that period, hasn't it?
Yes, yes, it has. I mean, it's a lot more than now than it was. And to be honest, a lot of things, like say people come for some fillings. I don't, these days I don't even do it with injection, and I promised them that it's not hurting, and they said, are you sure? Because
Yeah.
injection is one of the biggest thing that people are scared about. I said, yeah, you can like stop me and have injection if you want, but trust me. And
Mm.
a lot of times people like have the treatment done and they just think, oh wow, I didn't even notice, because the equipment has gone faster,
Right.
sharper, better. The understanding of the background of dental issues and dental health and other issues which is causing the problem has got better. Is a whole different world. It's not
Yeah.
the same scary thing that we had. I mean, implant surgeries that I do like full mouth reconstruction, the whole teeth out and all of it in.
Wow.
But if it is a single implant, like a simple one tooth implant, which actually recently one of our customers, which has written actually about it on her article on Costa Connection,
Right.
uh, she written about it that she thought it's going to be a lot harder, but it wasn't at all. Like it can get done in 20 minutes. It's not, if you know what you're doing. We do most of the prep work before the patient comes in.
Right.
And you come in, it seems simple. We're just joking and laughing, and then suddenly it's finished. So that's what happens. So it's a lot different, and
Yeah. Now, come on. I'm going to ask this one to Bita, Kevin. Um, Bita, dentists have a wicked sense of humor because
I know.
they ask you a question when they've got two hands and God knows what else stuck in your mouth,
I
and
know.
I
I
think they
can do
just do
that.
it out of
I like
fun.
I can chat for the word. I can talk and talk. I think that's what a skill I learned through my work, because I talk so I distract people. But I do ask questions, but then I laugh afterward myself. I said I asked the question, but I know you can't answer, so I'm just going to talk. But I know, yes, that's
Yeah,
absolutely true.
yeah. But when we had a chat yesterday before the show, I mentioned this to you. But my son in Scotland, who's actually now a professional mountaineer, actually trained in dentistry and worked in dentistry in Scotland for a
Yeah,
few years, and I'm very conscious that being a dentist isn't just knowing about teeth, is it?
no, no,
Because people come to you, I don't know, with all sorts of medical issues. They don't come to you
yes,
for the medical issues, but they're on blood thinners, they've got heart problems, they've got renal problems, and probably 1,000 other conditions that you
yes.
really need to know something about, don't you?
Yes, this is the thing. Like when we study to the dentistry, we have two first year of our studies together with the medical students.
Yes.
So we have actually to know the similar amount of pharmacology, which is about medicines and
Hmm.
disease, and I don't know, dice the bodies and
Yes.
everything else that medical students do. We have to do as well, and then we specialize to our area, which is the dentistry.
Yeah.
The thing is that I am very holistic in my own manners anyway. I believe that the body is connected,
Mm.
the whole body is connected. So I don't believe that like I touch one corner and it doesn't affect the other corner. So we do need to know and look at it as a whole body.
Right.
But obviously, if I feel like, I mean, I had patient which came in and after a tooth extraction, it wasn't healing, and I
Yeah.
just said, right, you need to go and do a blood sugar test, and she was severely diabetic.
Right. Okay.
So it was the diabetic which was problem, not the teeth. But then I have people coming often. This happens often. They come in, they're dying from the toothache, and I say, I think you have sinusitis. You need to go to a doctor and get antibiotic for your sinuses.
Yeah.
Like so yes, we check the teeth, but then you need to know a lot more
Yeah.
health advice how to help your customers.
Sure.
Uh,
Is this something that you're also building up on, Kevin? Sort of, checking with people about health problems and medications and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. When any new client comes in, then obviously you have the normal form filling anyway.
Yeah,
Um, and that's when I'll sit with them and go through, and then we have a detailed list of sort of any illnesses or things we need to be aware of for when I do pass them over to Bita, that
right,
she's aware. Because again, what we don't want is any conflict or a waste of a time for a client that we then can't do any procedures
yeah.
on them because of a medical condition. So
right,
It has been cases that we refused to do implant because of medical conditions.
right.
So,
Yeah,
so it is very important, and you have got really good knowledge of it now. You had a step learning, but you know what? I'm not really the kind of person that if it's one medical condition which comes through or a medicine which I don't know about,
mm,
I'm not going to try to black people. I say, oh,
right,
I haven't heard about this. I don't know what this is. Let's find out. Let me find some information, and I get back to you.
right.
And that's what I do. If I don't know something, I say I don't know, but let's
Mm,
find out.
yeah,
Um, which because the medical world is quite big and wide, but the most important things we know about,
yes,
yes.
yeah. How has it been from setting up a new business or a new dental practice, really at the most chaotic time in sort
Uh,
of living memory, to now? Have things started to sort of pick up for you guys? Because it must have been a very difficult time to get started in I'm going to call it a new business, but
it was new kind of patient wise.
yeah,
yeah,
it's been good. It's positive now. We're not going to lie. It's been a tough year because not only did we move countries, we brought a new house, we brought a new business. The business was the steep learning curve because, as Bita said, the procedures in Spain are a lot easier in some respects compared to the audits and the procedures and policies in England. But of course, as a new business, like we say, regardless of it being here 20 plus years, it's still getting the clients back because they
right,
would have gone off to another dentist who was open during COVID.
yes,
And now we're just starting to see, with a year's hard work of all the usual social medias, words of mouth,
mm,
we're slowly getting there, and we can be positive now, and we have built up a good bank of sort of new clients that will be coming back for their hygiene checks, their dental
yeah.
checks every 6 months or so. So
But
And they are we starting to get word of mouth recommendation, which we are really happy about.
yeah, this is what I was going to say. Obviously, I'm talking about this as a business because at the end of the day, whatever you do, Beta and Kevin,
Yeah,
you have to have a business head on, because you guys have to eat as well, Um, but I think for me, yeah, the advertising and things is important. But for me, personal recommendation for something as you say, Vita, intimate, and to some extent scary as dental work, personal recommendation for me would always be the most important thing
absolutely,
for me. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, our aim was to actually let people know we're here first, and that's why advertising and like going out was important.
right.
But now I think, as you said, we have got a good number of people which know us to be a starting recommend.
Yes.
And to be honest, I think every person which have come here brought another couple with
absolutely,
them.
yeah.
Yes.
so
Yeah.
so we're happy. We're happy that we have provided the service for people to recommend. So
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
So listen, we're going to take a short break in just a moment, and when we come back, I want to ask you about a couple of things. I want to talk about people's diets and what happens in terms of their teeth, and also all the different types of things or services that dentists can offer now that maybe say 30 or 40 years ago just wasn't on the menu. So. Sorry, I'm reading a message from Dave here. I'll come back to that in a moment. We're going to take a break now, and we're going to have a new single from Ollie Murs. I love this. I hate you when you're drunk.
Seen.
See,
You're listening to Expat Radio, beaming out across France and around the world.
welcome back. I'm Bill Anderson, coming live from the Costa del Sol with my guests today, Bita and Kevin from Team Kroh Dental. We're talking about all things teeth today. Welcome back, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And can I just say also welcome to over 90,000 listeners that we have at the moment in 77 countries. So we've got a lot of people hanging on your every words, guys, today. We've been talking generally about, dentistry and setting up a business in Spain. And I think just before the break, I said that there are so many things, so many more things on offer from the dentist these days than there were 30, 40 years ago, where it was like a filling or an extraction was pretty much what you got, wasn't it?
Yes, that's true, and that's why we see a lot of clients or patients, if you want to say, that on the older ages they have actually lost their teeth. They
Right.
have missing teeth because years ago it was really extraction, which was the norm, or a
Yes.
simple fillings. Nowadays, obviously, preventatively, we work a lot on the teeth so it doesn't get bad to start with. So that's a
Yeah.
major difference, if you say, that people are more aware. We give a lot more education so people know how to look after their teeth so it doesn't even get to that state.
Right.
But then if the teeth goes bad, then there are a lot more on offer to give them their dentition back
Right.
and try to replace that bad tooth with what would be as natural as a natural tooth. We do these days offer like implants a lot more than root canal treatments. In the old
Right.
days, if it was infection, it was right away root canal treatment. And today as well, it is a simple ones we do. But when it's a very complicated one and then root treatment has been failing a few times, then you know it's a chronic infection which will keep coming back. And whatever you do really with root canal treatment, you always leave a little bit bacteria behind, so you always have that little bit of infection.
Right.
So with implant has been so successful these days and so moved forward with new technology is so simple.
Hmm.
So that's one of the biggest changes: preventative implant treatments. If someone doesn't want to have that kind of big surgical job and they still want to have a good looking denture in the that world of it, that side of it, we have a lot more natural looking and much more comfortable dentures
Right.
available these days that it wasn't in the past. And even sometimes you can just fix it to just one or two implants to just make it to non-move.
Right.
So there are so much you can do, and that's in the aspect of getting your dentition and your nutrition back to normal. But in the aspect of cosmetic, oh my God, it's a whole new world of cosmetic as well. So
Yeah, and I guess I mean I was saying that you're over in the posh part of Marbella, and you are, but I guess that there are a lot of people who live in that area, and this is something that well, one, they can probably afford, and two, something that is quite popular um, amongst the Marbella set. So do you find that your clients coming in for this kind of cosmetic work is increasing?
yes, so everyone around, not everyone, but majority of customers around this area are very much cosmetic oriented.
Right.
And you can hardly find a face which hasn't been touched. It's very, very little of them around. But so one of the big things that they're asking in regard to teeth is to get the teeth whitened and straightened.
Right.
And so just a normal whitening often doesn't do as much as they require. So we, in the old days, we had only veneers, porcelain veneers, which require drilling on your teeth and damaging your own teeth. But these
Right.
days we do what we call either direct veneer or bonding, and that is just putting material on top of your teeth and artistically work with it to make look white and nice, but your
Right.
own teeth underneath are untouched, undamaged.
Right.
So this is getting really, really popular, and I done it for Kevin just this week. He looks like Joey Essex now.
Yeah. So this is kind of super glued onto the onto the actual teeth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can say that way.
Yeah.
But it's like it's working on the teeth, individual teeth one by one in the surgery. And obviously the facial aesthetics, the fillers, Botox, all that is quite a lot of it, which again in the past dentists wouldn't do it. But then the medical would gradually realize that dentist is the best person to do this because we know all the muscles and nerves
And the
and
nerves. Yeah.
everything around that
Yeah.
area better than any other doctor.
So have you done that on Kevin as well? The Botox and the fillers?
Yeah, you can answer that.
She actually has.
Really?
It sounds terrible. I'm certainly not a Marbella type. I live in t-shirts and shorts all year. But as she's been practicing more and more, and we're getting busier, she's like, I need to do this one. I need to do this one.
Show people what can be done.
Right. Okay.
So
And
I'm now 45, but I look 22, I think. So that's not a bad look, you know.
and as a man who we tend to steer clear of these things generally, Kevin. How was it? How was actually going through these procedures?
In fairness, I wasn't a fan to do it. I'll be really honest. I'm a very sort of typical bloke, as you say. I go to the gym. I lift heavy weights. I'm a police background. I sort of poo-pooed it, to be honest. But then I think Bita just got fed up with looking at my crooked teeth and my frown lines on my forehead.
Right.
And before I knew it, I was like the guinea pig for the clinic. So I guess for me, yeah, absolutely 100%. I can see the difference.
Right.
I just regularly get ribbed by my police friends and my daughters. You can imagine.
I bet you do.
No, but at least I like what I'm looking at.
Well, that's the important bit, Vita. You know,
Yes.
how many wives can say that of their husbands? I like what I'm looking at.
Well, now she's told the world she might be being divorced next week.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
actually had a couple of our customers which came from London here, but we get customers coming from London for their treatments here. So they were here just shortly before your show,
Right.
and they said to him, her wife is my customer. So the wife said to her husband, "Look at his teeth. I want you to have it." So he's coming in January to get his
To
teeth
get his
done.
teeth done.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing because teeth are very functional parts of our body, but they're actually serve a much bigger purpose as well, don't they?
gosh, confidence that it brings is
Yeah.
amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing. I have had people after they teeth are sorted, men come back and they are in tears and saying, I remember once I had a baker guy and he came with biggest cake and he said, I have a girlfriend now. I'm so happy because I have confidence that to laugh, smile, be myself and
Right.
joke.
Yes.
I'm not hiding myself at the background.
Yeah. But I think that's actually an important thing that people can become quite social phobic if they're very conscious of I don't know, bad teeth or gaps or whatever. Yeah.
I think that is the biggest reward that we get. I mean, when I get people like get tearful after I give them the mirror and they jump and hug me. That joy is not bought with any money.
No.
I tell you that.
Yeah. I can imagine that. So, Beta, you mentioned veneers that in the past they used to actually damage the teeth, and with this new system, they can basically be put onto the teeth and shaped to look
Yes.
natural. That must be a fairly big step forward.
Yes, it is. So it has been done in past as well, like a little bit on the teeth, but it has been unpredictable of how the final look will look like.
Okay,
Now we have got a new system which is really brand like quite new in dentistry in last couple of years, and with new material which has come, which is a flowable, but we can inject it onto the tooth. Is lots more advanced than before, and
right.
they're really good quality, polishable and shine nice, and we can actually give a we can make the teeth on a model first, so we know exactly what we want to achieve, and we can then copy that. So it's a predictable way of giving customer what they want, and it's still safe for their teeth. It's not, I don't put the drill on the tooth at all.
Right, right. I
So
mean,
it's
that in itself is comforting because when
yeah.
people mention dentist, they close their eyes and they hear this zzz.
Yes, yes, I know. But as I said, is that dentistry has definitely changed. It's not. I think the new generation will not have the same worry and scare. Hopefully.
Yes, yeah. I think that's probably true. I think that, as you say, the new generation will probably have a very different experience of dentistry. And also, as you pointed out, that people's awareness of dental health is very different now from it was, I don't know, let's just say in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s.
Yes.
But people are more aware. But I would say this, that I think diets now although people may eat more, I think people eat a lot more rubbish in their diets now than perhaps before, with chemicals, with everything with sugars in it. Does that do you see that impacting at all, or is just better nutrition kind of counteracting that?
I think we can talk about that quite a lot.
It's yeah, in terms of diet, as Bita said, there is so much more education nowadays compared to many years ago.
Right.
That the traditional food was there, but obviously we're now living in a day where everything is immediate and people are instant.
Mm,
But there is a lot more knowledge now that we see patients coming in. Some not, some do. But in terms of sort of how acidic some food can be on your teeth, but again, people are now a little bit more aware that actually it takes a certain amount of time for after you've eaten bad food, as we say, for it to be neutralized onto your teeth. So
right.
it's very much a case now of people are more aware that we see they brush more now. And again, going back to that because of food, people do tend to brush their teeth after eating a lot more now and floss compared to many years ago.
Sure, sure.
But we do give a lot of advice that's like for example, I say, look, don't have frequent eating, because more than the amount of sugar for health obviously not good, but for the teeth, it's not just sugar. It's anything you eat. It make your saliva acidy, and it
Right.
takes 30 minutes to go back to neutral. So we often advise like uh, eat less frequent, like eat three meals and then a meal in between, or
Mm,
like snack in between, but don't try to put something in your mouth every 5 minutes,
right.
because that's when you're keeping your mouth acidy, and then your teeth never get time to neutralize. But then the children get educated to this quite a lot these days by us when they come to their checkups,
Mm,
and then we train them today then like brushing. As so, as I said, that's why as well why a lot of cosmetic dentistry is getting more popular now, because people actually have their teeth.
right. Yes, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
To think about the cosmetic, but the diet is very important part of it, and yeah,
But
knowledge is a lot higher.
but I think this is good advice, but because it's very easy, for example, to sit I don't know, at home in the evening and just constantly snack, you know.
Yes,
And what you're saying is that if you're doing that, it's not the actual use of your teeth. It's what happens to the acidity in the mouth if people are
yes.
snacking constantly and the teeth are constantly exposed to this acidic environment. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I say to children that, okay, I say health-wise maybe not good to have a whole bag of sweets, but if you're having a whole bag of sweets for the whole day that you're going to eat it all in one go. And then have a glass of water, then half an hour later go and brush, because if you brush just when it's acidy, you're actually damaging your enamel. So you
Right.
have to brush at least half an hour after you have eaten, not earlier than that.
Right, yeah. You were mentioning dentures earlier, and you know, I think all of us have this kind of picture in our head of people that we've known that have had dentures that had a life of their own when they were speaking to you. You
Yeah.
know, so it was like
Yes.
it was like watching a dubbed Japanese movie that the teeth kept moving after they'd stopped speaking. And
Yeah.
you were talking about innovations now, that you can actually put implants in and make these sort of solid,
Yeah.
fixed into the mouth. Is
I
that
think
very popular?
no, it is. Where we have a really older customers which have had a lot of gum and bone problem, and we find it difficult to secure full set of implants in. A lot of time people opt to have a couple of implants where we have the bone, and then we secure the denture to that, and it doesn't move at all. It's really secure. It's really good. So yeah, there is a lot, and that's in the case of the whole mouth denture. But in cases of like a few teeth missing, you have flexi denture. You know those flexi glasses that's like you can
Yeah,
bend. We
yeah.
have flexi dentures these days that is just like a glove sits on your teeth and it doesn't move at all. So there are a lot more available these days to offer.
Yeah, yeah. I do remember a lot of years ago, someone who had this problem with the teeth moving up and down, and someone says you need to get some of that powder for your teeth. So he was going out, and he'd gone into the dentist and to the pharmacy and said, "Can I have some of that powder for my teeth?" Well,
Mhm.
he sprinkled it on his teeth before he went to the party and put them in, and
Oh,
didn't realize that they'd given him the stuff for cleaning them, and he started foaming at the mouth.
oh no. No, we see also quite a lot when the teeth, because it's moving, they take it out and put it into a tissue, and then it's like wiped away, or they lose their denture because of that, because it's moving.
Right.
They take it out when they eat rather than put it in. And we do get customers coming like that.
Yes, I did know people in the past who used to be proud of the fact that they could bite through an apple just with their gums, you know.
Yeah, no, it's but as I said, these days you don't need to suffer like that. You really don't need to suffer. We have a short life, and we need to enjoy it every day.
Indeed. So,
And a lot of time they say, "Oh, is it worth me spending?" I said, "Well, depending on what's important for you. If you think that you enjoy your life better with them, then enjoy your
yeah,
life. If you think that's it's not that important, then that's fine."
yeah. Listen, if people want to look you up, how can they do that on the internet? I guess you have a website that you've been building, Kevin, yeah?
Yeah, so our website is www is teamkrohdental.es.
Right. And
Uh,
Kroh is spelled Kroh.
KH.
no,
No, KRO.
she's
K,
new, bless her. So no, you're correct. It's Team Kroh. Kroh spent
yeah.
Kroh.
.es for
.es.
Spain, yeah, for España. Um, so if people want to look up and see what you're doing, they can certainly do that. Do you have a Facebook page as well? Yes.
We do. So again, if they just search on Team Kroh Dental, and on the same on Instagram, we're on there. And then
Right.
obviously we work on WhatsApp in Spain, is very popular. So if anyone wants to WhatsApp us, it's +34 695 289 802.
Right. And when we do the podcast, I'll put this number up as well for you.
Bless you.
So where do you go from here? Where do you go from here, guys?
I think for us personally, like we said at the beginning, we don't want to be millionaires. We don't want 5 or 6 clinics. We want to stay as we are. We want to continue grow the one clinic we have. Like we say, it is family run. We don't want to expand to other businesses. We just want to, as Bita said, really, we want to. The reason for Spain was to enjoy life. If we wanted to be millionaires, we could have stayed in England and had practices there. So that's where we are. We just want to be, as we are now, professional and providing a good service.
Give the service that people deserve and make them
Sure.
happy and make friends and be happy.
Yeah, yeah. And how long have you been here now? Was it 2 years, 3 years?
So yeah.
It's been about 2 years.
Yeah.
We moved, let's say, 2 years ago. We've had to practice around about 15 months now. So
Right.
we had a couple of months to settle into the Spanish lifestyle, as it were, and then we cracked on from there.
So this is going to be one, not your first sort of Spanish Christmas, but maybe the first normal one because the last couple of years have all been a bit crazy. So are you going to be out at the Christmas lights and seeing what's happening for the Spanish
We're
Christmas?
going to go to the Botanic Garden in Malaga, definitely,
Beautiful.
because that one is nice one. Having like Christmas dinner with the staff and things like that, but yeah, generally not taking it easy. That's what we need. A little bit of
Yes,
rest.
yeah, yeah. And in December we have lots of holidays anyway, don't we? We have the 6th of December, the 8th of December.
Well, Kevin
Then,
decided to use all the holiday to redecorate the reception room.
oh right, okay. You're going to be in trouble for that, Kevin.
It was a good idea at the time.
Listen, we're just coming towards the end of our time. Can I just say thank you so much for joining me today. It's been lovely chatting to you.
Thank you.
And very interesting. And well, I wish you all the very best in sort of moving things forward with the practice, and we'll get these recommendations out there. And David's going to put a link to your website on the Expat Radio website as well. So thank you, Kevin. Thank you,
Thank
Bita,
you.
for joining us. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
Thanks very much.
Everyone.
And thank you everyone who's joined in today. Have a great weekend, and I shall be back next week at 1 o'clock. Take care, everyone.
Character and heart and motivation as well.